Salutations everyone, this is Razor bringing you guys another Overwatch 2 video here today to talk about Lifeweaver again. Because he's sort of fallen off as far as like people playing him and talking about him ever since he got that nerf after the bunch of buffs that he did get after being so weak at his launch. And I feel like he's quite the underrated support in what he does and how he can perform. Now, he does have, he is statistically one of the worst, if not the worst support in the game. Definitely bottom 3. He's in the bottom 4 in win rate at every single level, including last place in GM, second to last in Masters, and third to last in Diamond. And in Quick Play, he's dead last in almost every single skill tier. But competitive is where characters, I think, really... those statistics have some meaning, whereas quick play, nothing really matters. And so like he isn't statistically performing well. You know, his pick rate isn't that good, but it's not you know, one of the worst ones in the game either. And I feel like his strengths are being slept on. I felt like he was a bit too strong, obviously, and needed some of those nerfs that you know, I did recommend to take some of his ammo away, and that is one of the things that did happen with him. But I always thought he had a good kit, that he wasn't stepping on anybody's toes too much, that he had carved himself out a role that wasn't overlapping too much on another character, and he was also pretty fun to play. And with that, he was obviously fairly weak and not something, even though I thought he was fun and pretty good, he just wasn't pickable with his ult being that bad. But after the change to his ult being pretty decent, I feel like he's pretty much a good plug-and-play support character pretty much everywhere. I do recommend playing him the most when you are with a tank that has no shield, especially Orisa, Junker Queen, and Doomfist. And Zarya as well, but Zarya's just kind of good with everything because Zarya is really good. You know, same with Roadhog. Roadhog's just god tier. And we're not going to talk about Malga. I mean, he by himself can destroy Lifeweaver's tree in about half a nanosecond because he's quote-unquote balanced, right? But Lifeweaver, I like playing him, and I'm doing very, very well with him. I believe he's my highest win percentage for support over the last 2 seasons. And I'm not picking him most of the time, just when I find him the most applicable. And there are some cases where I feel he is the best support for the job. As you can see, we have a Doomfist coming in here. And while, you know, a Mercy Pocket would be fine and be able to, you know, damage boost, I feel that Lifeweaver does kind of play the Mercy role a bit in the ability to be a great pocket healer. Obviously, he can't damage boost like she can, but his ability to heal, and as well as the life grip, protecting somebody in a way that no other ability in the game can do. I mean, it's the only thing that you can do against Cage Match. It's literally the only ability that can save somebody from being cage matched to death. And obviously, it'll protect anyone from other ultimates and other forms of CC, like Graviton or Earth Shatter, getting slept. I mean, you don't even need the life grip to save someone getting slept. You can put them on the platform if you have that ability. The platform is very niche, and it's nice to have it to, like, hey, I can give tanks that otherwise can't access high ground the high ground. But, or, you know, a DPS can challenge somebody that is dominating the high ground. Most of the time, your teammates are not going to use that platform. Even if it, like, you make it really obvious, it's like, hey, I'm doing this for you to get you high ground so you can get that flank high noon or challenge the soldier or, you know, get up on the high point of Dorado point A, things like that. Most of the time, people aren't going to take that. So that ability isn't great. But Kinetic, or the life grip, is fantastic. A lot of people complain about how good it is or, you know, how short of the cooldown it is compared to other things. It has one of the longer cooldowns out there, but definitely not at the tippy top. And it's very good. It's the only thing that could really save an opponent from getting environmentally killed, which is the only thing that Mercy cannot res. That is the only thing Mercy can't do, is bring someone back from the dead who got killed via an environmental boop. And Lifeweaver kind of fills that niche. And his damage abilities, while aren't amazing, he's not one of the better duelists out there when it comes to the support role or any role, obviously. His damage is pretty good. It's a projectile, so you'll have to lead it, and it's not going to be doing crazy damage, but it does good damage if you hit on all your shots, and it's easy to hit all your shots on, say, something like a shield. So if you're poking out a Sigma shield or a Reinhardt shield, if you don't need to heal anybody, spam those needles in there, because they're going to do pretty good damage, and all of those shots are going to hit. So as far as like shield breaking from the support role, he's one of the better ones. And when it comes to surviving, I think he's right up there. He might be at the very, very top. He's definitely up there with Moira in their ability to just not die. And obviously, both of them can output a lot of heals. I feel like Lifeweaver has is probably number 2 for having the highest ceiling of heals out there, behind Baptiste. Obviously, if you're playing Baptiste in the best way possible for him, he's gonna put out more heals than anybody. And Moira obviously can put out a ton of heals as well. So can Mercy with her ability to pocket, but Lifeweaver is a bit different in that while he doesn't have the constant uptime that Mercy has, Mercy is going to have a perma uptime. She never has to reload any of her heals. She's very special in that way. She can just heal ad infinitum. Lifeweaver can kind of heal in the same way. He has, pretty much about the same range as Mercy's healing Caduceus beam has, and can give you nice bursts of heals, as well as life grip, and he's not going to die for it. While Mercy can, dip and dive and fly away and be impossible to kill even while she's standing still and rezzing, because you've blown all your abilities usually to kill the thing that she's trying to res, usually a tank, where she's going to get the most value out of that ability. Lifeweaver can do it from a safe distance. He's not going to be as vulnerable to something like a High Noon or a Visor, where most of the time your Mercy's going to be in the air when she is valking, or going from target to target. He can kind of play the same hot potato overcooked game where you're trying to keep everybody up together, while Mercy Beam is constant at a lower tick rate. He's getting big bursts, and while he will have to reload, while his uptime's not going to be as good when he is up, I feel like his ability to keep everybody up is a bit better than Mercy. And her survivability is definitely up there as well. Mercy can be one of the hardest to kill in the game. Moira can be very hard to kill. And a lot of people said when Lifeweaver first came out that he was way too diveable. It was way too diveable of a target for your Tracers and Sombras and Genjis and things like that. But the data never backed that up, even when he was weakest, when he first came out. The data did not back it up that he was super diveable, that he was dying a lot. He actually wasn't, and is doing even obviously less so after the buffs. His ability to platform for himself is incredible, because not most people are going to be able to contest that quickly enough when he is in that vulnerability window. And the buff of the heals to his dash is really good, possibly too good. I think maybe if you want to nerf another thing about Lifeweaver, not that I don't think anybody's asking for that right now, but if you were to, maybe take a little bit off of his self-healing with the dash, because to me, it feels pretty good. When I try to dive Lifeweaver as a DPS, he's not a very good target to dive, because he's got 2 abilities that are going to save him. And, they narrowed his hurt box, which I didn't feel was necessary, but hey, I guess I'll take it if I'm going to play Lifeweaver. He's taller than most characters and going to have a slightly larger hitbox than some of the squishies, but still is not a very easy character to pin down with that dash. It's only on a 5-second cooldown. The pedal platform is going to usually keep you safe for a bit. There are times where it's not going to be much use. Just, Genji going up there, maybe Sombra translocates back up, but you're going to give yourself a window to have a larger uptime, to where I'm dying, I think, less on Lifeweaver than any other support character out there. Even Moira, who's going to want to be in the fray more so to do her damage. Where Lifeweaver, he can, sort of be in the back for a bit, but he can also kind of play up close. And if he can dash away on the first initial damage that he gets, and then pedal platform away. And obviously life grip is super duper invaluable, even as a 16-second cooldown. It can do things that no other character can do. There's no something you can substitute it for, and he's very good. And you get those headshots up close. You know, again, up close, he's not that bad. Headshots with his needles is pretty darn good. You aren't going to be getting a lot of kills. I usually get, you know, between like 6 and 11 every game. Usually about 9 is about where I average out. And I think I go 9 and 5 on this game. But I'm not dying, and I'm outputting a ton of heals. And he's also pretty fun. He's not going to have again, he's not stepping on anybody's toes. He can't res, so he's not stepping on, and damage boost, so he's not stepping on mercy there. But he can sort of pocket in a similar safe fashion and not be killable like Moira, but he's not going to be great in the damage department, and he doesn't have one of the best support ultimates, but it's also not that bad. It's a good, you know, counteracting ultimate against a grab. You throw it right up in there. It's also going to block line of sight. You can also use it to trap a tank that, you know, in a small building or something that's giving you grief. I've done it quite a few times, and it can feel really awesome. It's like, haha, you're trapped and we're getting heals. This is going to win the team fight. Obviously very niche in that circumstance, but most of the time it's not going to be getting destroyed, and you are going to get value out of it pretty much every time, unless like you just use it way too late and, you know, they get the kills anyway. But, you know, that's the balanced aspect of his kit. His raw healing is very, very good and easier to do so if you're not used to mercy, or if you're playing a very mobile tank. Your Baptiste isn't going to be able to hit that Doomfist as easily, or, you know, the Winston or something like that. And I love playing Lifeweaver and giving my Doomfist or Winston that ability, just like, go in. I'll heal you from a safe distance. You can go in below all your cooldowns, and if it's not working out, I'm life gripping you out of there, buddy. And everything's copacetic. We go next from there. You know, we're not losing time waiting for a respawn for our tank, something like that. You know, even a Reinhardt, they're going to go for a balls to the wall charge. If whether they miss it and don't get value out of it, I pull them away and they're safe, or they get the pin and they get the kill, but they're still in enemy territory, I can still pull them away and they're absolutely safe. And he's fantastic for peeling for the other support as well. When there's, say, an enemy Sombra, as you got to see in the first, in the attack round, whenever our Ana got hacked, I just life gripped her, and that Sombra did not get value out of that. She didn't get value out of that hack and or virus, because I life gripped him away and to safety, and then I went up on my platform so they can't kill me, and then I just start healing our Ana, or our Lucio in this case. As our Doom went in, they blew a lot of cooldowns, and just trying to get the second checkpoint here, he uses his ultimate to mainly get out of there. And Lifeweaver is just really, really complementary to an aggressive tank playstyle. But also, if you just want to, you know, take your time, he can be all right. But I think there's better supports out there if you're playing a slow game with a Reinhardt, or maybe even say a Roadhog, because you are going to want to have, you know, that cleanse, or, you know, maybe a speed boost or something like that. But when it comes to Orisa, she's got 2 mitigating cooldowns that she's going to want to get value out of, especially with all the Maugas out there, obviously. Our tanks are more vulnerable now than they have ever been in Overwatch's 1 history with that menace out there. Lifeweaver can safely heal if they do not have a shield to mitigate those things, and give those windows of opportunity for our tanks to have their damage mitigators have value, whether it be Kinetic Grasp or Zarya Bubbles or Javelin Spin. If they can use that to stop a big singular cooldown, and my heals can keep them up in between those big cooldowns, or in between big dives of our Doomfist, that was enabling our Doomfist very well, I thought. Especially as, you know, the Ana is not going to get as easy heals on the Doom, or Lucio is just going to get a consistent, you know, AoE, whereas the Doom just diving in. I have a much longer range, and a safe range at that, and the ability to get him out of there if things go haywire. So I think people are sleeping a bit about what this guy can do. My healing output is highest on this character than any other supports because I don't play a lot of BAP, especially when he's the best. But as you can see, I had 17k healing in this 14-minute game, which is pretty darn good. I only die 5 times, the least amount of anybody in the entire lobby. And I also got, 9 eliminations to my name. And I forget how many lives were, prevented, life deaths prevented. What do you call that? Life grip deaths prevented. I had 4 of those. I think at least half of those were on the Doomfist. Tree of Life healing was 2,300, which isn't great for a support ultimate that you're getting throughout a 14-minute game, but it's also not bad, and helped us at least win one of those team fights more convincingly, and helped propagate our Doom to do whatever he wanted. So I like Lifeweaver a lot right now. I'm winning with him at a very high clip. He's not the best pick with every tank, but with those that he does pair well with, he's not going to be that diveable. He's going to peel for your other supports, and he's going to be able to keep everybody up at around the same clip as a Mercy, with the added benefit of Life Grip, just without the damage boost or res ability.